Good morning. I'm going to be doing a reading today on the second week of March, which is starting tomorrow. So it's March the 9th, and that will take us up to the 15th, which I actually already did a reading and I enjoyed it so much and got so much good information. I thought, well, let's see what's happening this week. So I'm using the Amanda Ellis Christ Consciousness deck again. These cards are pretty big for my hands. If you can see, they're kind of like that's a card. That's a beautiful one. Maybe we'll get that one. So don't make fun of my shuffling. I've already shuffled a little bit, and we'll see what we get. Before I pull cards for the United States for the second week of March, mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually, I'll just say my quick prayer. I invite you to join me in this quick chakra alignment exercise to really feel the parts of your body so that whatever comes through from God and the cards, God source, and the cards that you might be able to use your own discernment to take it on board. So I want to start by thanking God for this beautiful day in the Ozarks. It really feels like spring today. I want to connect with my root chakra, which I see as kind of a red, and feel it connect into the earth and all those awakening plants, animals, bugs, all the things that are awakening with spring. Connect into that. And then I feel my solar plexus and my sacral chakra, which I see as kind of an orange. I know they're two chakras, but I kind of blend them together. And I ask God Source that you help me to be productive and motivated. And my heart chakra, which I always see as a lovely green, that I would give and receive love and love myself fully. And my throat chakra, that I would have the right words to speak, the right communication, that I would use the right words. My third eye, that I would get clear images and discernment and understanding of those images from you, God Source. Open my third eye. And my crown chakra. And when I say that, I always feel a little tingle on the top of my head. And it feels just like a white light kind of opening up and shooting to the heavens as I acknowledge the God Source that created us all. And now I come back down and I stir the colors. So I see the white light, the crystalline blue, the lavender, the green, the orange, the red, and I stir them. And to me, it feels a bit like being on a tilt-a-whirl. Like I kind of feel a little bit of and then I just connect back into the ground. Amen. So be it. God, protect us. Give us your wisdom and discernment as we look for your wisdom about the second week of March in the United States. Amen. So be it. All right, that's how my prayer goes. I don't know how long that is. I don't feel like it's very long, but it's so worth it because these are revolutionary times, spiritually, emotionally, physically, in every way. These are amazing times, and it's a good idea to put on your whole armor and set your intention to connect clearly with God. So before I pull cards, I want to tell you about this image I got last night as I was falling to sleep. I don't love having my sleep disturbed, honestly. It's probably my least favorite thing about being psychic. And I've told my spirit team, please don't bother my sleep. I need my sleep. So when I do get images, and lately they've been coming through right as I'm falling asleep and right as I'm waking up from sleep, I'll just say, all right, I got it. And I'll say it out loud so they know I got it. And I don't know if that matters or not, but that's what I do. And help me to remember that. So when I woke up this morning, I remembered the image again. And it was an image of a woman, a tiny woman. And she looked a lot like, if you're watching Survivor right now, Survivor 48, we're big fans in our house, Mary, who is who's one of the cast members. And so, so when I get an image that is related to something that I've been seeing in my real world, I tend to be a little skeptical of it, because it could just be my subconscious sorting through things, or Mary's kind of on the chalk being locked mouth, so maybe I'm a little worried about her. So I didn't give it a lot of weight, but I thought, okay, I'm going to talk to my team about it, because this woman who sort of looked like Mary, but she had dark hair. It was chopped very, very straight and very right here with black bangs. And she's turned to the side, and she reaches forward, and in front of her are people lined up. In front of her is a man, it looks like, without a shirt on. And the people are standing like dominoes. All races, all ethnicities. And she just barely taps on his shoulder, and he falls over, and all the humans fall over. And the last one, even though her tap, and this was clairsentient, so this is the way I felt about it, her tap was the gentlest tap. It was barely a tap on his shoulder. But as the humans are falling in, I come over to the side, I see them from the side, as they're all falling, just like straight, the last one falls so violently that he kind of lurches forward and kind of stumbles and stands up to his feet. So that's pretty dramatic. And I immediately thought, is this about another illness? Is this related to the reading I did for the middle March, where Spirit let us know that there's some event coming? And so I just want to lean into that now and try to get some information before I pull cards, because it feels related. And what I feel is the lack of intentionality of the young woman to cause any harm. The barest touch causes the cascade to happen. So it feels almost like unintended consequences. So it's a metaphor for unintended consequences, and that's clairsentience, where I lean into an image and I get the feelings. She's like, oh. And then the guy on the other side who's falling out and stumbling, as if you would see someone crossing a finish line, where they are so blown forward, is when I lean into him, he feels shocked. Like that came out of nowhere, because the force of the falling dominoes, people dominoes, became increasingly strong as it went. And so God Source, and I'm getting tingles. What would you have us know about this? Yeah. I feel like it's unintended. It's a message about unintended consequences, and the smallest thing causing the biggest reaction. And before I post this video, I'll probably, if the cards don't clear it up more, I'll do some claircog journaling and see if I can get more specific message to come through. But it doesn't feel... It feels like a side message, like unintended consequences. So we'll just keep that in mind. Sorry, I just hit my mic. Usually I talk to my spirit friends about things like this. They've been busy here lately, so I'm going to talk to you and them, I'm sure. Okay. God Source, give us a card for how the United States is doing mentally this week, tomorrow, starting tomorrow, the second week of March. Signs of divine timing, the Magi. Signs of divine timing. Wow. So I'm getting a ton of chills. Whew. So this feels kind of like astrological. Let's show you that card. Can you focus on it? I probably need to turn my autofocus on. Hang on, I'm sorry about that. Autofocus on. All right, now let's try. Autofocus. There you go. Can you see it now? I can't tell. The Magi, signs of divine timing. Wow. So I'm not a big astrology person. I know my sign is in Aries, and I could probably pull out a chart and tell you more about it. But I know my friends who are into this say this is a very momentous time astrologically. So wow, signs of divine timing, God source. We asked about mentally. What does this have to tell us mentally? So what I'm getting from this card is what the wise men, and this is a card, this deck is called Christ Consciousness, so it's, I'm literally turning over, I think, my fifth card now. I know it's about stories from the Christian Bible, though, and the story of the wise man is that they saw the star that was prophesied, and they followed it and found where the Christ child was born. And what I'm getting from this is the wonderment, the look on this wise man's face of wonderment of, oh my gosh, it's finally arriving. The star that was foretold, the star that we believed in is here. And that sense of awe and wonder. And so mentally this week, maybe we're going to get some astrological events that really blow our mind. I don't have any idea because that's not my area of focus, but that's what this card is saying. And it's really very beautiful. Let me see if I can get the man's face in focus for you. You see his face? Let's see. I can get the auto tune on. There we go. Tune on that. There we go. See his face looking at the star? It's a sense of wonderment. It's a sense of looking at what's beyond. And the other people in the card are looking at the fire. They're focused on the everyday, the here and the now, the everything. But he is focused on the big picture. So I would say mentally, try to focus on the big picture this week because there might be some cool signs coming. That's pretty neat. All right, mentally, physically, for the second week of March. Physically, God's source, how are we going to be feeling and doing physically? Our North American world is certainly warming up with spring. It feels so good to have the sun on our skin, my skin. We went out for a walk this morning. All the birds are laying their eggs and getting ready for the next season of life and awakening. Okay, did I shuffle enough? Let me see, let me shuffle again. God source, give us a card. Physically, how are we going to be doing physically? Forgiveness sets you free. Wow. Again, I'm getting a ton of chills. Forgiveness sets you free. What are we holding on to in our bodies, in our physical bodies? What resentments and anger and misunderstandings are we holding on to, and how is that affecting our emotional, how is that affecting our physical health and all of our health? I recently had some migraines, and there's no doubt about it that the mental things that I was experiencing were affecting my physical sense. So what can you let go of this week? That's what this card says to me. What can you let go of this week that frees you physically? Think about that. It'll be different for everybody, but yeah, this is really beautiful. Forgiveness sets you free. That's how we're doing physically this week. That's pretty nice. Okay. All right. Mentally, physically, emotionally. That was a big card in the third week of March. So how are we? My back is hurting. Probably needs some forgiveness of someone in there, I'm sure. Clear out my back. Emotionally. Okay, God source. Even though I'm a terrible shuffler, this is a card for how we're doing emotionally. Oh, gosh. Temptation. Moral compass. How does this relate to our emotional state? Okay, so for me, this is about vices. Vices, what vices are we using? I mean, vices makes them wrong or right. And God source, I don't think really puts those kinds of judgments on things. It's just, how is this affecting you emotionally? And so is there something going on in your world that you're using to numb and not feel your emotions, that you would be better suited to face your emotions and do some healing work? To me, this feels like, what are you doing that's keeping you from being about your business, as they say, about your business? It's keeping you stuck emotionally. I don't know. You have to take this on board for yourself and talk to your team about it. Moral compass. I think this is also interesting because I already have done the next week and I know what's coming that next week. Maybe this is also about getting grounded in what is what's really important to us, what matters to us, and picking the right ways to be having boundaries and resistance, and checking in with our moral compass. And so this is emotionally. Temptation, moral compass. Okay, this is a super interesting reading. I guess I've only done 2. I've loved them both. I may be hooked. All right. So we've done mentally, emotionally, physically. Mentally, physically, emotionally. That leaves spiritually. How are we doing, God source? The second week of March, starting tomorrow, the 10th. 10th of March in the United States. Oh my God. I shuffled, I got the same card that was really the focus of my reading emotionally. Well, okay, I don't even know what to do with this. Holy anger, be the change. I got this for our emotional state. And it was, no, in our spiritual state. And I got it for the next week for our emotional state. So You know, I thought about this before I did this reading using the same deck. What if I get the same cards? And I thought, my gosh, there are, I don't know how many cards. 50. Let's see here. How many cards are there? If I knew more about cards, I probably should know that. How many cards are there? There are 55 cards. 55 cards. What are the chances that I'm going to get the same card? And it's a tough one. I'm sorry I haven't showed it too much because I've already read on it. Holy anger, be the change. And this is, am I making it in focus? Get in focus. Get in focus there. There, that's what I'm doing wrong. I'm not holding it in front of the lens. All right. Okay. Holy anger, be the change. This is a person sitting on a redwood tree that's been chopped down. When we were talking about this emotionally, I leaned into it with my spirit team, it was all about the sudden jarring emotional reaction of something happening. And when I went and I journaled on it afterwards, what God Source said is that the tree is cut down and there's grief and there's holy anger, and that a tree cannot be uncut. But then there's also going to be someone who wants to use that tree to build a house. And so there's a duality in this card when we were talking about it emotionally, and how whatever is happening mid-March, and maybe begins this next week, but in the spiritual spheres, God Source. So this feels very much like a premonition of what will happen in the beginning of March, except it's in the spiritual space. And so all the potentiality of action is afoot. And those of us who are Clair sensitives are going to be feeling this spiritually, but it's not happened yet. And so it's like it's not even the calm before the storm, it's the foreboding before the storm. And so as I lean into this for the spiritual sense, it's the sense that the duality of the card, the fact that some will want to use the tree to build a house and see that as progressive, and some will be devastated that a beautiful 100-year-old tree is gone suddenly, irreparably. And so I can't believe I got this card again. Let me show it to you again. Okay, so, all right, so we have mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. Okay, so mentally, we talked about the fact to keep your eyes open and see what is above us, what the people who are looking at the fire here are not seeing, because they're paying attention to what's right in front of them. When there's a beautiful astrological event happening, and the awe of the Magi who sees it. So mentally, there could be some signs and wonders coming this week that a lot of people miss. So just don't be looking down at your feet. Look around, see what else. Physically, what are you holding on to that you can release that will help your human body? This is forgiveness. Forgiveness sets you free. Emotionally, moral compass. I think this is related to the reading that I did in the next week. Get centered, know what's right for you. Oh, you know what they're giving me? Oh, yeah. Look, the monkey is hiding his eyes and his ears, right? Be careful what kind of media you're taking in. That, I mean, I haven't watched traditional news forever. I would read all these years. I have a couple of sources I like to read. Even those upset me a little bit now. So be very discerning about what information you're taking in, whether it's true or not. And tune into your moral compass and your anchor where you're going to need it, because the week after this week is going to be tumultuous, I think. And then the last one, which I can't even believe I got twice. Holy anger, but in the spiritual realms. And so that just feels like the winds of change are blowing, and that those of us who are, and if you're watching this, you probably are too, that you can feel the sense of foreboding. I've been seeing a tsunami wave go out for a while. It has that sense of stillness, like the wind, like the birds aren't chirping, the wind isn't blowing, like an ominousness. So yeah, so this is not to scare you. These are all positive cards. I mean, my gosh, look, we've got healing work that you can do. We've got a potential astrological event. I mean, in the emotional and spiritual realms, we're a bit troubled this week. And I guess that shouldn't be all that shocking. So, God Source, thank you for this reading. What else can I tell the people that are watching to help us prepare for this week? And particularly, what does that vision that you gave me last night with the woman and the human dominoes, how does that relate to these cards? No, it's not. It's not about the astrological event. Forgiveness. Yeah, I think it could be in part about this recognizing and healing. Maybe I've certainly done my own healing work. I want to encourage you in every way I can to dive into that. It will make your life better and more joyful, to get rid of the things that hold you down that you're not even probably aware of. It doesn't take much. It doesn't take much. The tiniest little tap can have a big outcome. So this feels like they're telling me the multiplier effect. When you do your spiritual work, when you do your physical, when you do your healing work, it affects your body, it affects everything. This was a card for physically. So that's pretty cool. That's positive. So yeah, that could be related to that multiplier effect is what they're giving me. How does the human dominoes affect to this moral compass? Right? It's the unintended consequences. The man that steps out so violently at the end. There was no intention for that to happen, and that often happens with moral gray areas. There's lots of unintended consequences. And then this card that's going to start haunting me, holy anger be the change. Holy anger be the change. How does this relate? So I think this was in the spiritual realms. I think you want to be careful maybe this week about how you allow yourself to get ginned up or upset, because you're going to feel it, but it's not going to be apparent yet. And that small tap, going into, for example, okay, they're showing me. So I think I've spoken before about how I live in a very conservative area that I don't always agree with, well, often don't agree with, but I never use my voice. And the other day I was at the gas station. It's been a while ago. It was right around the election time, and the guy filling up next to me said, "Well, I can't wait till the Republican platform is back in so that our gas prices go down." And it just made me mad. So I said, "Well, I don't think he's going to be, I think he's going to prison." Which is very much not like me. I'm usually keep it. And then I realized I'm alone with this very big man who could get mad at me, and I could have put myself in danger. And so I hopped in my car and drove off. And I had this sense of elation that I'd spoken and used my voice and said my truth. But I also had this sense of fear, like that was really stupid. When you live in a small town, I'm probably going to see that guy again. He's probably going to wind up being the parent of, the coach of one of my kids' teams or something. That's just how it works. And so I had that duality, that moral compass moment there. But then, so it feels like this card for the spiritual side of things is to be a little bit cautious. Be a little bit cautious about how you choose to be the change, because it's just in the winds. It's not in our faces just yet. It's in the winds. And whatever holy anger that you are feeling, whatever sense of foreboding you're feeling this week, just breathe through it. Maybe do the prayer meditation that I showed you at the beginning. I do that all the time to center myself, and it is tremendously confirming. Maybe listen to some soothing music. Whatever you need to do to keep yourself steady and ready, because we need you. We need all the light workers that we have in the world. And yeah, I could never have predicted we'd get this card again. I don't. Honestly, I'm going to have to call my smarter spiritual friends and ask them what the heck's going on, because it feels very significant. So, but that's my take on it. If I get more, I'll put it in the description notes when I put it up. And I hope you have a beautiful week, that you get out and enjoy the sunshine, that you remember this beautiful physical card about the smallest thing of forgiving can have huge effects, the multiplier effect. Remember the multiplier effect this week. I think that's the theme. The multiplier effect in all the good ways and all the bad ways that can mean, or I guess it's not good or bad, all the spectrum ways that can be true. And if you like this content, I'm going to be doing these every week. Hopefully I will not keep getting the same card, because it's a really disturbing card. But maybe I will. And then we can just be prepared for that, and feel my support and my love and a sense of community and belonging here. Follow me to see more of my card readings. I also have some videos about healing and learning about your clairsenses. And I don't think I even said I'm Susanna. Yeah, from the Soul School. Yeah, that's me. Anyway, we'll talk to you later. Have a good Sunday. Bye-bye.